Indeed, the principle of liability in law predisposes that one can be tried for a crime if he commits the crime himself, participates in its commission in some manner, or benefits thereof. Well, having linked suspended head of the Police Intelligence Response Team, the IRT, Abba Kyari, to internet fraud committed by Ramon Abbas, popularly called Hushpuppi, the U.S. in April 2021 requested his extradition to answer to the crimes, and now the federal government has approved the request by the U.S. for Mr. Kyari's extradition. The Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, filed an application before the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Wednesday this week for the extradition matter. The AGF, that's Mr. Malami, is saying that the application followed a request by the diplomatic representative of the U.S. Embassy in Abuja. That's how we begin the conversation on this Kyari latest. And Dari, the Kyari latest also has further developments as less than 24 hours after the AGF's move. Now we see the NDLEA going to court to file an 8-count charge against DCP Kyari on drug trafficking charges now. What do you make of this twist?
I'm actually not seeing a twist. I'm seeing developments, because we've been on the Kyari matter for quite a while now. You recall that he was first indicted, so to speak, in the Hushpuppi matter. Then we started hearing about need to extradite him or not to extradite him. And I'll give it to the Nigerian system now, especially the Office of the Attorney General, for proving a point. And how do I mean? When all this noise started, there were people who felt that Kyari should just be released to America because they asked for him. Some of us felt no. We are also a sovereign nation. Kyari is still a citizen of Nigeria. The law guiding extradition states certain things that must be in place before you can release your citizen to another country. You must be sure the request for him to be, brought to you there is not political. You must be sure he would not be, he will receive fair hearing where he is going. You must be sure that in case, or should it be that he is not guilty of whatever he has been alleged, he will be allowed free passage back home. And that he would not be subjected to any form of discrimination or molestation due to his faith, his color, or his background. There is need for all this to be established first before you can now say, okay, we agree to release him or not. But a lot of people who wouldn't be bothered whether there are rules, whether there are regulations, they didn't just think it was, they wanted it to be automatic. And the moment Nigeria said no, there are rules to follow, we said it, they will shield him, they're going to throw all the case under the carpet, he's going to get away with it. We must begin to grow some trust in our own system. It is when we do that that we will have value in the eyes of other people. Now that this is happening, I went into that background for you to understand the importance of what has just happened.
Indeed.
Not only has a court in Nigeria said Kyari can be released, the Nigerian government, through the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, has affirmed that we are sure he will not be ill-treated in any way. We are sure he has cases or questions to answer over there. We are sure we can protect him should things go the unexpected way. Having established all that, they are willing and ready to start the process of releasing him to America. And if you now look at why that was going on, you will also recall that some people quickly said that the allegations against Kyari by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, was an avenue to prevent him from being sent to America. I read that too on social media. Some people even made these assertions on national televisions that the government is coming up with this drug allegation just to, cover and prevent his extradition. Now, the government wants to extradite him. that does not stop NDLEA having concluded its investigations, knowing that people, not only Kyari, it's not only about Abba Kyari, so a number of people, including other police officers, including some NDLEA officials, possibly, are said to have questions to answer. The fact that Kyari is now being sent to America is not enough reason for others to escape trial.
Even the extradition of a thing now is also not automatic.
It's not, it's a process.
It is a process, and this is just an application by the AGF to the court.
There is absolutely nothing wrong in NDLEA kickstarting its own process. Should Kyari be extradited tomorrow, others will continue answering questions while his own will wait for him whenever it comes back. So I think these are good developments and they're in order.
All right. Tony, what do you make of this? First, the AGF goes to court to apply for an order ordering the release of Mr. Kyari to the U.S. to answer to these alleged charges in the U.S. And the NDLEA comes out now to file charges against, from what I see anyway, against DCP Kyari and 4 of his officers. I'm not sure if it involves anyone, if it has named anyone yet from NDLEA. No, the story is just developing, but so far so good. What do you make of this slant now?
I salute the federal government for taking that step. This is how it should be done. I mean, that trust must be there from the government to the people. People should be able to trust government, because the conspiracy theory that I was highlighting, I've read a lot of it. Even right now, even till now, they're still, still watching government to see how the whole situation pans out. It's a welcome development. It's a welcome development. The Ministry of Justice approaching the court, as you said, like you said, it's a process. The process has started. We are now waiting for the court to grant that request for extradition. And once it's done, it's over. And then the NDLEA coming out later today to file an 8-count charge against the same DCP Abba Kyari. We want justice. If anybody violates the law, let justice take its due course. Let's watch. Let there be no maneuver. That is where those conspiracy theorists are coming from. And now the ball is in the court of government to prove them wrong. And I'm happy, that's why I said I'm happy they've initiated it this morning. I'm happy it's going that direction. What we're now waiting for is for the court to make the next move, and then we proceed. Abba Kyari is somebody I respect so much before this, even until now. I won't say because he's still, facing the court. He has not been pronounced guilty yet. But I think he got carried away. Even during suspension too, he got involved. I would have expected an officer at that level to take everything, calm down and watch as everything, pans out. But he got engaged with other nefarious activities again that, I'm sure all of them mixed together brought him to where he is today. So it's a lesson for everybody, but most importantly, I salute the federal government again for taking that initiative, because a whole lot of people were actually not believing the step. Okay, no, they've picked him now. They said America cannot. They are trying to shield him. All manner of conspiracy theories and all that. So now that we're saying this, there's so much quietness in the social media space, because that's where all these things happened. But there are still, some few of them still watching the situation as it unveils. I pray we'll be able to push this through and get justice at the end of the day.
All right, gentlemen, as at yesterday when the AGF went to court, to file the papers, we haven't gotten a date yet for the hearing. Lawyers are saying it's even when the court indeed orders that Mr. Kyari be extradited
Yeah, you can still
to the
appeal
US,
it.
he can appeal.
Yes.
And if the court weighs the evidence presented by the US and the federal government and sees that he shouldn't be extradited, the FG can even also appeal. And the laws, you mentioned, some legal provisions, as that listed conditions for this extradition, one of which being that if an offense, related or not related to what he's wanted for in the US, is instituted against him in Nigeria, that automatically, creates a spanner in the wheels for the extradition request. So now that the NDLEA has come out now, the laws also say that indeed he must everyone must indeed wait for the result of that court's on the NDLEA case. If indeed is sentenced, he must even serve the entire duration of the sentence before the extradition.
I don't think it's that simple.
Well, but that's what the law says.
No, I don't think it's that straight jacket.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer, but we've seen developments like this in the past. I think it's about technicalities and people involved weighing their options. And that's why a judge must make a pronouncement. Don't forget, the AGF has had a duty to do. He must check, are there reasons why it should not be extradited? Are there fears about the extradition process? Before he will go to court at all to make that request, he must have ensured that he did his own bit. Good enough, he didn't go to court before
the NDLEA.
The NDLEA saga. He didn't. The saga was on. He is a son. He had sons working in his office. If he knew there is a bottleneck already, I don't think he will want to waste the resources and time of the court. I believe very well that at the end of the day, none of us is eager, in my opinion, to see Kyari sent off if there is no need for. Either he's here or he's there. He has charges to answer. That's how bad it is. Like Tony said, he's one person I admired. I no longer admire him, I must say, because even if he escapes,
he's not been pronounced guilty.
No, even if he's pronounced innocent, he sort of lost some of the respect I have for me by making himself available where he could be accused. Like Yorubas will say, if you don't walk near certain things, the odor of such things will not smell on your body. That some things one does not expect. Some recent pictures I've seen of him in association with some people, even if he has no criminal deals with them. The mere fact that he could call them his friends, enough for me not to want to be his friend again. I don't want to be the friend of such people. So if he's their friend, he cannot be my friend. So he is somebody I've celebrated in my writings, in my analysis. He's somebody I've personally visited to applaud, to give kudos to for some heroic deeds. So seeing him in this mess is a personal disappointment to some of us. So it's not as if one is eager to see him go off. Yeah. But why one is not eager to see him go off? I am eager to see justice done thoroughly in this matter, to serve as deterrents to others who would want to engage in criminalities while putting on the uniform of the Nigerian police force or any other parastatal for that matter. Two, for those who don't know the bounds, the limits of association as public officers, there should be no relationship between a public officer and a known or a celebrated...
Let me interrupt our conversation here in the studio, bringing our very first caller. I'm sorry if I got the name wrong. Bridget, welcome.
No, Fidel, F-I-D-E-L.
Mr. Fidel, it's good to have you on the program. Please carry on.
Thank you very much. Fidel Onyeneke is calling from Owerri, and I want to say that nobody is above the law. One had expected a highly placed officer like Abba Kyari to know what to do and what not to do at a given time, to live as an example. Now, I want to urge the federal government to ensure that wherever he is sent to, that he should set the appropriate law and nobody should maltreat him. Because the guidelines, rules, and regulations that have to be followed Remember, he's still a citizen of this country. Yes. And as such, if you are sending him to a place where they are going to maltreat him, federal government should not do that. That should be resisted. And above all, this country, no country is an island. So we must follow the diplomatic processes and ensure that we show the world that we are really fighting corruption in this country called Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that said. Well, back to the studio for more on this developing story. Tony, so like I was saying earlier on, Mr. Malami, the senior advocate of Nigeria, had said that there were no charges. That is one of the conditions, to be considered and before an extradition request is, weighed. And of course, like Darius said, all this information, however quickly they emanate or the panel, will be tabled before the judge. Subsequent information like this NDLEA charge will of course be put before the judge, before making a pronouncement on the matter. But I'm just also looking at, the connection, the AGF, the Chief Law Officer of the Federation, the NDLEA, coming to court now. I'm just looking at, say, the level of independence, or so to speak, now between these two bodies. How does it seem to you?
For me, that is how it should be. For me, it's a different court cases here. We have one from the emanating from the Office of the Attorney General, and one is coming from the NDLEA, and they are going to follow. Work simultaneously. They are not. I don't say mix here. The one from the AGF is the one that is talking about the extradition, and that's the one that the Nigerians want to see how it works, because I can't remember the last time any Nigerian was extradited. Extradited to
the Buruji, he fought it in court. He slugged it out till death, indeed.
He wants to appeal it. I think that was the last stage he left it. So that's the one that excites Nigerians the more, because it has to do with a foreign country here. We want to see how it works. The processes, phase by phase. Just as I said, no date has been assigned for that
date, yes.
for the hearing yet. So I want a quick dispensation of justice in this case, and we should learn that. I mean, the will of justice should be let it grind faster once in a while. In a case like this, that attract international attention, should be Nigerians should do it differently from the way we do our things here. Let us see how it pans out. The processes are not. Let's wait for what the court says.
Let's bring in our second caller. Elder Diary, welcome to the program. Please carry on.
Yeah, good evening, my sister, and to the guests in the studio.
Thank you.
You see, Abba Kyari is somebody I so much respected. He's a vibrant young man who takes his job very seriously. But ever since I began to see him on social media, going out for operation and they take pictures, I know that he's going to run into troubled waters. You see, it's rather unfortunate that until the FBI bring out this report, the Nigerian government cannot even notice something like that until a foreign nation pointed out this. You see, the system is so weak in Nigeria. We have strong individuals rather than strong institutions. And that is why some of them can do some of the things and get away with it. We have so many Abba Kyaris holding positions in Nigeria that are still doing the same thing. But what is the system doing to fish them out, especially in sensitive positions like this? Like that rightly said, photos and videos are watched on the social media, seeing him, mingling with people he ought not to. He's an intelligence officer, but his acts are not intelligent at all. A man of his position and caliber shouldn't, do that in a public glare, even if you have a relationship with them. It's rather unfortunate. But be that as it may, it's good that the federal government is taking the step it ought to take, so that it will serve as defense for other people to know that the long arm of the law will catch up with you when you go against the ethic of your profession. Good evening, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much for making your contributions. And, we also have reports that what prompted the AGF to go to court yesterday was the conclusion of investigation, so to speak, or the submission of the file to the AGF by the police investigative team. And, you know, the police had also not foreclosed the issue of how DCP Kyari and the other officers were able to, especially DCP Kyari, were able to carry out that alleged operation, you know, during a suspension, and has also vowed to look into that, disciplinary measures.
That's why you will understand that it's a whole lot of an issue. And the moment we begin to smell conspiracy theories, or we inject conspiracy theories into this, we'll model the whole thing up. An investigation was ongoing. Abba Kyari, Hushpuppi, and co. Something else happened while he was on suspension. He got involved in something else again. Then, just like the last speaker said that took a foreign police institution to point out what was wrong. I may not totally agree with that, because the NDLEA saga was unraveled by our own men. Yeah. So sometimes it may take time for things to be known, but if we are diligent at finding out things, if we are diligent at exposing those who do the wrong things, will surely, the long arm of the law will eventually catch up with everybody. What I'm trying to say is, it should not be seen as anything strange that AGF went to court and then we have the NDA going to go. The police investigative panel had to submit to the Police Service Commission weeks back. It was returned because the PSC felt that it was not diligently carried out. If that had been done and agreed upon, then I am sure the AGFs going to the court would have been faster. And we will not be talking about NDLEA going hours after he went to court. And also you must know, like I said earlier, the fact that the AGF has gone to court should not be a reason why Abba Kyari and those involved in this matter should not be tried for the drug-related offense. While the FBI's request for him may be celebrated, for me, I take the drug involvement more seriously. I'll tell you why. By the time this matter starts unfolding, you will hear names of celebrities. We will hear other names. Because Abba Kyari and whoever is being alleged to have sold and buy the drugs now will not consume everything on their own. Who are the customers? Where are the outlets in this country? Abba Kyari allegedly sold some and even offered to sell more. And after offering to sell more, within days, he disposed it of. To who? This case going to court will unveil a lot of things. Hopefully. And that's why we should not be too eager about extraditing him and leaving that. All right.
I want to accommodate the remaining few seconds we have on this topic now. You know, whether you agree with what Darius said, for you, which is weightier? For the government, for the officers involved, for you?
It's waiting for both the government and the officers involved. On the part of government, and most especially the Nigerian police force, a lot still need to be done. What happened to Abba Kyari should be an eye-opener to the police hierarchy. You should start taking cognizance of actions of the rank and file, what they do daily. I mean, somebody should be interested. Abba Kyari didn't start this today, you know. Let's be realistic. Right. Because if you look at it, he didn't start this today. But
specifically, the question is, between these two offenses, that's alleged offenses, that in the US, and you know this drug trafficking done on home soil, so to speak, that one was also done on home, was said to have been done on home soil. But when you weigh these two charges, which for you is you know, has the biggest impact?
Two of them are weighty. We're talking about crime here. Crime, there's no bigger crime or small. Crime is crime. And we're talking about Abba Kyari here, a police officer. He's celebrated police officer for that matter. So you can't say this is bigger. No, they should be treated equally. One from the NDLEA and the one from the FBI.